Hey, good morning, people on here. I just kind of wanted to come on for a second and I guess spiel because I can't really understand um, why people are taking Kanye West seriously. Like, no, I'm honestly confused. I mean, he's already gone on all the shows and he said all the things and now it just kind of I don't know. I think people will stop. Honestly, like Kanye West is not a politician. So the fact that people are out here expecting him to be, and they're thinking that like all of his commentary on all this shit is gonna make a difference. Like, first of all, I stand by what I said before. I don't think the Adidas partnership was good for him. I think he needs to like grow the fuck up as an adult, and if he wants to do shoes or fashion or whatever, just build his own shit. Like, it really feels like he's still in a place where he believes that he needs this validation from other people, and it's making him look stupid. I don't also understand any of the shit that's happening with Balenciaga. I think they're all weird. Like, he's walking on the him and Kim with the masks and shit walking around, and then other people are like he lost his family. He didn't lose his family. He just like got a divorce. That's a very common thing. And then other people are like, well, he's not well or whatever. And it's just like, I don't think that's the case. I think he's like sitting here stating a whole bunch of unpopular opinions. Like some of the shit that I heard on I just saw the Michael Knowles like recap of the interview that he did with the last interview with Alex Jones or something. It just seems sorry. It just seems stupid. Like, he's not the person to be giving you sound advice about Stalin or Hitler. Like, that doesn't even sound right. I don't know why anyone would believe that he would be the person to tell you. I don't know, something meaningful. It just doesn't make any sense. Um, I'm more concerned about the people who think that like listening to him is a good idea. Like, I think Kanye West should talk about music because he's a really good musician, but other shit is not his like. It's not his area of expertise, and we know this, so we can't expect other things. It's perfect. We understand. Thank you. And it's weird for people to expect something else. I don't know. The weird part is he's already gone on every talk show and talked about all this stuff before. And then it was just strange. It's just strange. Like, at the same time, I think he has the freedom to say whatever he wants to say, but I think there's so many things. Like, he was making comments like there were black people in America before slavery and whatever. I don't know who that talking point came from. Joe Rogan. I've said this before. Like, I don't understand how people think that Joe Rogan and people who go on that podcast they're like intellectuals. This doesn't even make any sense. I think Wicked has to be with Janice. They're not very smart. Okay. Do you want And I've heard I was listening to some other podcast and I had to turn it off because the other guy was repeating that talking point. He was like, I was listening to Joe Rogan, and that's how I learned how black people were here before. When the Native Americans, it was just like, this doesn't make any sense at all. Like, nobody knows anything about history. This is sad. It's almost about your fault. Misinformation is a thing. Some things are just really weird to you. Like, I just don't think it's funny to play around with topics like the Holocaust or slavery because, like, people really died. No, I think what Kanye West was trying to do with opening the conversation between like maybe like um a troubled history between the Jewish community and the Black community. I think that's a real conversation worth having. But I didn't really feel like this was the case, but it does kind of feel like maybe Kanye might be like a Holocaust denier. Like I didn't think that initially, but now that is kind of how I feel given some of the stuff. Like I don't know. And then he was putting up symbols on things, and it's just kind of like those symbols mean things. And that the other thing that's super weird is like all the stuff that Nick Fuentes says, they mean stuff. Like he's saying these things because he believes in like hate and segregation. That's like what he believes in, and it's not like something else. Like that's how he really feels. And there are other people who agree with that sentiment. And the weird part about it is like Kanye West is like a Black person. So to align yourself with a white supremacist, it's very strange. I'm not going to sit here and say I think it has anything to do with his mental health because I don't. I think it has a lot more to do with him just being grossly misinformed about a lot because he's not a politician. And I don't know why people are giving him these like platforms to speak on politics and like racial issues, social class and stuff. It doesn't make any sense. This isn't his strong point. Like this, he doesn't know anything about that stuff, like at all. He's not. He's not a politician. He's not. Like I don't even. I don't know. And I think you have to like divide stuff up because I don't like when people do the thing where they're like mental health. All of the things that he's saying is because of that. Like, no, no, no. Like he's just misinformed on a lot of stuff. And being misinformed is a real thing. There are lots of people who are misinformed, and like he is one of them. And that's a thing. And I don't think that he deserves like a pass or anything for it, but like like that's a real space that people occupy and that he's occupying, and I don't know, we have to realize that and just accept it. It's all very strange. I don't know. This is such a weird society. It's just a super weird society, man. I don't know. I'm kind of shook by all of it.
Here, put this out, open it up, all the way out. Yeah, but it don't have to be supposed to put it that way. Ooh, it's so soft. Don't put it outside of the napkin. That's not right. The napkin has to be your feet. Now it's my sleeping bag. Ooh, that's so comfy. Top. Top. Top.
Oh, well, okay.
Is that hourly?
I also thought,
Alright, I'm gonna go order some food for these guys.
I think that this is interesting what the mayor of New York is doing with the homeless people.
Okay, let's go.
I think that, like, I think there's a lot of people who are equating stuff that isn't similar. Um, what I mean by that is, like, sorry. What I mean by that is, like, there are a lot of people in New York who are, like, drug users. They're out here too. They're in all the major cities. So there's people who are, like, their whole adult life is been formed around this, like, drug culture. And so some of it is mental health, but a lot of it is drug abuse. And then some of it is, like, systemic poverty. Some of it is, like, how do you say it? Like, being ostracized to, like, the fringes of society, so they're not, like, interacting with others. Maybe their families have, like, cut them off in some way. I don't know. There's probably a million reasons, why stuff is happening, but the point is, this stuff is happening, and, like, how do you say, like, we don't have solutions for that. And just pushing people off, or putting them in institutions temporarily, isn't gonna help, because nobody's gonna know what, like, every person has an individual story and problem. So if you're not getting down to the root of that individual problem, then how is anybody gonna help? That doesn't make sense. I feel like some of the human rights groups have, like, stood up to say how this is bad, but I mean, that problem does have to be solved. That's another thing that is really concerning to me. Most of the people who are dealing with mental health issues in America now are dealing with, like, severe depression, mania, kind of like their mental health is struggling because of social issues. And a lot of those people are getting treatment. Like, they have therapists, they're on some sort of medication already. I feel like a lot of the stuff that people are talking about, with these people that the mayor wants to put in institutions, these are people who have never had treatment for any sort of mental health issue at all. And now all of a sudden they're saying, we want to give treatment. And it's like, you're kind of 20 years too late. You can't like backpedal for 20 years of non-treatment and then be like, okay, so now it's time for the treatment. Like, that doesn't really help. I don't know. And then it's also very strange to, like, sit here and try to equate, because I think when a lot of people are thinking and talking about mental health, they're putting, like, Kanye West in the same bucket as some crackhead who's on the street in New York. Those people aren't the same. They don't have a similar story. Their mental health struggles aren't the same. I think it's really like people trying to say everyone who's sick is sick for the same reason. Or, okay, here's a good example of this. You know how, like, a lot of the fashion magazines are trying to, like, popularize obesity. So we all know like obesity causes death. Like it can cause organ failure, diabetes, like all this stuff that's really bad. And we all know that this is the case. But still, people are putting these like obese fashion models on magazines and stuff. And they're trying to promote it like it's healthy. Most women in America are obese. Like people's wives, their mothers, their grandmothers, they're all obese. And the society has just said that like this is okay. It's not okay. It's literally a health condition that that leads to death. In the same way that like people with severe mental illnesses who don't have any treatment and don't have any life skills, they're like the obese woman and the mentally insane homeless person are both at like the same risk of like in terms of like their life chances and their health not being in a good space. But for some reason, as a society, we've decided to say like the fat woman is okay, but the mentally um, needy man or something is not okay. Right, like the people who are eating really awful foods and then they're getting cancer. Those people aren't okay either. Like there's a whole group of people who like aren't okay. It isn't just one. It's just very strange in the society that we are now, how people are trying to make it seem like one is way they're trying to like how do you say like clump up compare stuff. Oh, this one's worse. No, this one's worse. This one's worse. Like they're all bad. Like I don't know. The society is not in a good place. I guess that's another thing. Why I feel like I've been trying to say that for a while, and it's just not getting through, and it's very weird. Like all in all, it's not like a really good place. But like that's the thing, like that's that is the issue. So it's hard. I mean, I think some of the you know podcast stations are useful because they're pointing out some of these issues that maybe are more difficult for others to talk about. I don't think it's getting to the root though of the problem, which is that there's a need for change and like the change isn't coming. It doesn't really even feel like we're trending in the right direction, which is kind of We'll get, but that's not. There's no. You can get cappuccino, but there's no. Thank you. So there's guys, but under the bridge of the Broadway. So this woman is a diaper. Wow. What? Oh. I didn't know. You go stand up. That on the front. Happy. Lisa. Yes. Hey, you made that. It's so cool, huh? Yeah. Super cool. Super. Then we saw the crowd. Wait, oh, the lifeguard. Oh, not supposed to. Really? I think I'm kind of done with breakfast, but this was really good. And thank you so much. That was delicious.
Oh, look at you.
Okay.
Look at you, Mom.
Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's here. Yeah.